Hey, it's Tech Thursday. I'm Nicole,
And I'm Cassie.
and we're coming to you from the same room we typically come to you from, but we're attempting to make it more soundproof. Um, but also, the soundproofing is blue and ugly, so we're trying to make it a little not ugly.
We're
And
coming to you from the house from the others, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely. So we're sort of figuring out like the sound and the lighting, and we've also got a new microphone. So we're just gonna see how this works and tweak from there. So yeah. Anyway, so we look a little different than normal. So yeah, this week
The lighting's really awesome. So
it is. We think we look really good, so we're just gonna. Well, Cassie looks really good. I look kind of ghost-like, but that's okay.
It might be because you're wearing all black.
Maybe that's it.
You look vaguely goth, but like
Yeah.
maybe just 90s.
Yeah, maybe I just look 90s. All right, we'll just say that. So we have a very exciting topic for you today.
Yes. I think about a year ago, we actually had a Tech Thursday called Email is Sexy. Yeah, I remember filming that and doing that. So this one is email is getting sexier. Or is it getting sexier? I guess there's a question mark there.
Right. Well, it kind of depends on your taste, right? So we're reading an interesting article on Fast Company this week, and I should probably pull that up. There's probably like an easier way to do this than screen share. I'll figure it out some other time.
I love the little screen share thing when it's like
it's totally working. Yeah.
So you guys probably can't see.
Yeah.
Just know that it's really cool on our end.
It is so cool on our end. So this is the article that we're talking about, essentially, some of the stuff in it, as well as some things that we've noticed in our general email travels. But this article is in Fast Company, and it's about basically how people are trying to make email a little bit more interesting in terms of email newsletters that we all get a ton of.
Yes.
I apparently get 1,200 or so somehow, and I keep unsubscribing from the ones I don't like. But what people are trying to do is kind of cut through the noise, and also, email hasn't changed much in like 20 years.
That's true.
And the reason I guess it hasn't changed much, and I'll switch it back to our screen here because I feel like we're more attracted to look at than this article. But this is the article we're talking about. And the reason that email hasn't changed much is that there's so many different email clients. There's, people check their email in the web browser, they check it on Outlook. And so it's really hard to make something that's dynamic that works in all those places.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, because you never know, like if someone checks their email, like you can check your Gmail in Firefox or you can check it in an app on your smartphone.
Right.
And those are two completely different experiences sometimes.
Oh, because I don't think about functionality or coding. I just
Right.
So yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Now, have you ever gotten an email with like a big box in it with like an X or something, like something is clearly like broken in it?
Yeah, that drives me insane.
Do you ever notice the whole view in your browser thing? Like there's usually a link that you can like pull up the link. Do you ever click on it?
No, I'm lazy.
No, like you are most people. So that's the other thing they found is that the reason they
I'm average.
No, it's not that you're average. I'm just saying that like most people don't want to go through the effort. If an email doesn't work, they're not going to say, golly, let me see if I can, figure out why this isn't working in a way that they would figure out maybe in other places in their life.
Isn't working.
Right. So
there's a different level of gratification there.
It's true. So most people, so A, everyone's all on different email platforms, and B, if there's something wrong, which is what happens when you try to integrate fanciness into what you're doing, if there's something wrong, people aren't gonna, they're just gonna delete it and not continue on. So that's why there's this, that's why email innovation, I think, has been slow, even though. And also there's all this sexy social media stuff that everyone's talking about, right? And so a lot of people, if they have to pick one or the other, they want to pick something sexy. They want to pick the social media, which you kind of get, but at the same time, email newsletters perform really well, which brings us to a link in this article, excuse me, well, like I said, I will figure out how to do this better next time. I want to show the full screen, that's fine. Like I said, I'm sure there's a more efficient way to do this, but in this particular article, so if you just have this link to this one Fast Company article, you can get to these other links that I'm showing you. It's not like I went out and got them separately, but basically what they found is they've done a study, and this is like this year, this wasn't like a study they did in 2010 or something, that email marketing brings forth more return than Facebook and Twitter put together. And it showed some interesting graphs in terms of how customers are actually acquired from people.
Oh, wow.
Right? It's like an impressive thing. And I think the thing with Facebook and Twitter, and in particular Twitter, for me, is that if you don't see something, it just gets buried.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. I get really overwhelmed because sometimes I just want to I'm just looking to see if I feel like there's one more graph. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm thinking of a different article. But yeah, this graph pretty much tells you all. And that's why when people contact us about social marketing, I do like helping them with social, but we also try to tell them, if you've got an email list from your customers, like we can really do some stuff there in terms of reaching them.
And I mean, Facebook and Twitter is kind of a nice way to get in the back of people's minds or in the front of people's minds. But when I'm on Facebook, I'm looking for, I'm probably not looking to buy stuff. Like, that's not my intention. Whereas email, I would expect it there more. I guess the organic search makes sense to me because when I'm in the market for something, I'll look for it.
Yeah.
Or start researching. But then if I see something in my email, or if I had seen something in my email, that's probably the first thing I'm gonna look for. Right. Not something I saw on Facebook or Twitter, or I probably didn't because, the whole issue with Facebook is what does it show? It might not show your thing to me, who's actually in the market. It might show it to someone else.
Right. You're not guaranteed to get every Facebook post that someone posts. And but at the same time with Twitter, you're guaranteed to get all those tweets, but sometimes things can get lost in the shuffle.
It's very time relevant.
Right. It is. And then sometimes I've tried to figure out ways to bookmark. And I'm sure there's, we can maybe do an episode about this because it's something I need to figure out how to bookmark my favorite tweets or something like that. I know that there's favorites, but I kind of wish I could sort of put them in folders or something. I don't know. I wish I could just, rather than sort of saving them and just saving them, I wish I could just sort of organize them a little better so I could read them at a different point.
Kind of like Pinterest almost, because you can favorite things on Pinterest, but then you can also organize them.
Yeah. So that's true.
But it's a completely different thing.
Right. But with email, people get it. They can read it when it's convenient, and they can organize it if they want. They can either have labels or they can put it in folders. They can flag it anyway. So what increasingly companies want to do is they want people to not just open the email that one time. They want people to save that email and go back to it, open it again, right? Because it's sort of it's almost like, a blog or something, right? It's something they want people to reference. It's a longer format. Typically there's multiple resources in one email. It's not like most people don't send an email and be like, oh, here's this one link, right? It's usually a collection of things or there's some kind of theme to it. So they were talking about in this article on Fast Company, some of the technologies that they're trying to integrate within email. They're trying to, for example, with online shopping carts, integrate what's called a carousel. You probably noticed it on Facebook too. There's images and you can sort of swipe through them horizontally, pick between things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What carousel have you been on recently, Cassie?
I have a tragic lack of carousel in my life. I'm hoping to hit one up at one of the fairs that I go to this weekend.
No, not that kind of carousel. Ad carousels.
Oh, I've actually never seen an ad carousel, so yeah.
Oh my god,
I think
I
was thinking about.
Oh my god, I get marketed to all. I see and I try to screenshot them, but you can't really because you can't really get the idea of the ad carousel unless you screenshot each individual thing. So
I'm sure I have seen one. I just kind of have the blinders on. I don't look for this stuff. I'm just kind of scroll.
See, I'm okay, how did they do that and why did they do that? Because
I'm more of a like when I go into Walmart and I find a really weird product and I'm like, it's interesting to me, like, how did they get people to think that they needed this?
Right.
And like, you sold us a problem and a solution here. Like, that's so intriguing to me. And like, I actually spent a ridiculous amount of time. I don't remember what I was looking at. I think it was like yoga socks or something in Walmart with my dad. And we were just standing there, and my mom was like actually trying to buy stuff. And my dad and I were just being like, totally
Looking at
weird.
yoga socks.
Like, and we were just like standing there, like, now, what, like, who is this for? And like, it wasn't just that. It was just, like several. This was about an hour of this. My poor mother. Like, I can't be with you two right now. You're so nerdy. But anyway, that's what grinds my gears with the marketing stuff.
Right. Anywho, well, in email, people can convince things like people that they want things that they don't necessarily need.
In really unique formats like ad carousels.
It's true. And so the ad carousel, what it does is allows you to serve up basically 4 different ads. And then you can see which, like in the same, because the problem when you do an experiment, right, is that you got to change one variable at a time. Like if you remember science class, you can't like be like, oh, what happens if I mix this and this? And then what happens if I heat it up? You have to like do those things separately to see, okay, well, did it turn red because I heated it up, or did it turn red because I mixed the 2 things together? That's why you isolate the variable. So a lot of times people try to test ads, and a big part of what motivates people is timing. So it's really, so what you want to do in the ideal world is show people either similar, ads with like one variable changed, or, at the same time to the same people. So you're taking out the timing part and you're taking out the audience part as a variable, and you're just messing with like the content. So people can show like, I bought these spices, and what's hilarious is like I continue to be marketed to because I finally made the purchase, but it showed me like it was like vegan, spices, and then it was like, 50% off, and then it was like, so basically in showing me these things, which one did I click on? And it took
50% off.
Right.
Oh,
I did click on the 50% off one. I mean, there was a few other ones too, but those are the 2 I remembered, because I was like, oh, vegan. I was like, oh, maybe this would be, I was thinking like, oh, maybe Cassie would click on the vegan one. Not that you're vegan. And I would click on the 50% one because I'm a cheap bastard.
Something about the vegan, gluten-free.
Totally.
Funny.
Yeah. So anyway, so basically what they're trying to do is say like, okay, so we have all these dynamic elements on the internet. We have these carousel ads, we have videos that play, we have dynamic content. So for example, displaying a Twitter feed on the page of on a conference page. How can we add these elements to email? And so people are trying to figure that out right now, with some success.
Yeah, with the online shopping cart thing, I feel like I might have made this leap on my own. But can you like buy directly from the email? Is that what they were saying?
So they were saying you could basically like add all this stuff to your shopping cart, and you would just have to go to the website to pay, because there is that payment interaction. So they're trying to do app-like experiences through email, because they want that continuity. They don't want you to have to because think about it, like you see the pair of pants and you're like click, and then it like takes you out of your if you're on your phone, right? Takes you out of the browser, pulls you into, and every step that you make people get out is like an opportunity for them to go away. So what you want them to do is they're in the email, they're looking around, you want them to keep looking, you want them to keep putting stuff in their cart, you want them to keep whatever. But I mean, clearly your email client can't take a secure payment, so they have to send you to the website to make the payment. But you can that's what they want people to do. They want people to shop. They want
that was something we thought. I was like, because sometimes I look at an email from like ModCloth or something, and like there's the thing I want like right there, but I'm like, I have to go to the website and find this, and
like what's this dress called, or or sometimes you click on like the dress you think you're clicking on, and it brings you to all the dresses, and you're like, no, I just want the one with the big flowers on it. Oh wait, there's like 100 with big flowers on it. No, I want this one with big flowers.
In a haystack.
It does feel like, that's how I always feel when I go on ModCloth too. I'm like,
also the names of things, I get distracted and then I forget like what I'm looking for, because I'm like, what's this one called?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you've never been on ModCloth,
Just go there and just let your brain explode at like all the different like Darling Clementine dress. And I'm like, wait, was the Darling Clementine dress the one I liked, or was that the name I liked? Because I do that too. Because sometimes I like the names of things, and I really want to like the thing that's
and like the name that gets stuck in your head isn't necessarily related to the thing you wanted.
Exactly. So, but anyway, I'll screen share momentarily here and show you some of the fun things that were in this this email. Oh, I almost pressed stop this broadcast. I'm not good at the whole clicking thing lately, guys. I'm aging, and oh wow, it's like infinity of things. Oh, wow. It's like Inception. It's like
really dizzy.
There we go. Yeah. So anyway, this is the email marketing survey, or like I said, showing that email actually gets customers, which always gets business people's attention. Oh, that gets me customers. Cool.
Like we've said it until we're blue in the face, not literally, but like figuratively. And then that one little graph,
right,
guys, we told you.
So this is actually a game that someone has designed. Now you can't use JavaScript in emails like you can, and JavaScript's a lot of what powers the kind of more the more dynamic elements of the internet, right? For safety reasons, they can't have JavaScript in email. So what they've had to do is like go a little older school on the coding of some of these more dynamic elements. So this person actually made this whack-a-mole game.
Whack-a-mole.
The whack-a-mole.
Did you see the whack-a-mole reference? That's what I was laughing at.
Nice. I didn't even read. I just was like, oh, okay. It's like, so it's a different kind of programming. And, you know, it's so funny in the article they're talking about, oh my God, like we used to use tables to design websites to like lay them out. Like, I know you've tried to use tables to like line up logos and stuff. So we still do it a little bit, but that's how they used to they'd make a table and they'd have like one row was the menu. The next thing, like the whole website would be a table.
Like my minimal experience with tables has been more than enough for me. I can't imagine trying to lay out a whole website like that.
And sometimes you have tables within tables. But anyway, so but when you look at, I have no idea who this is. Nice snowball mic. Thanks, Matt. Hi, Matt.
No, you can't see me. I just waved.
Nice. She did. She really did. She's not just saying that. But
I'll wave again.
Yeah, so Matt totally recommended this mic to us, so I'm glad he's. I hope the sound is actually better. That will be the test. But anyway, it's kind of cool that people have to harken back, because if you look at an email template, basically it's a table. You know, so people have had to go a little bit older school with their coding to be able to add things to websites. I was like, okay, so they're gonna start adding games to email, which I think is interesting, right? Keeping people in email. Good way to do it is that I'm not seeing the commercial value of this necessarily at this moment.
Yeah.
But you see that like it plants a seed, right? It's like, oh, well, that's interesting, right? The other things that kind of are not super old school, but stuff that people have been doing in terms of making emails more dynamic.
I love this. I can do that all day.
So I signed up for this thing called.
I'm the person you want to market to.
I signed up for this thing called Yerdle, which is like you basically sell your stuff, but like for points, and you can use it to buy other stuff. Like it's more of like it's like a cashless sort of app-based ecosystem. But then I got really annoyed by all the emails, so then I unsubscribed. But I kept a couple because, as you see on the very top here, like the it uses emoji in the subject line, and if I just looked for Yerdle. Like you see that like this, it stands out among your email because you have this emoji in the subject line. And also, of course, you know, they have, you know, animated GIF of the season changing. And it looks like this is downloadable apparently. Good to know. But so yeah, so people are like thinking, okay, well, how do I make my email more eye-catching? And I thought the emoji in the subject line was kind of interesting. And apparently there's a whole article about how to do it on your computer as well as on your smartphone.
Sick stock photo.
Yeah, totally. And I appreciate that like it goes through exactly how to like click on it on your keyboard and tells you what each of them are. So if you're unsure about emoji, just look for that How to Geek article.
Oh my God, I noticed on Snapchat. So Snapchat's kind of gone through some interesting updates, but they have little emojis by your like most recent people that you talk to.
Yeah.
And apparently you can, I was in the settings yesterday and it says like what each one means. Like when it's next to someone, this means that you're like on a streak when you get the fire, and like it was kind of cool. So
no, but I appreciate even like someone trying to be a little bit thoughtful, right? In the email,
Yeah.
like, okay, let's add the little, and honestly, that's why I kept on that email list for like a month. I just wanted to see what little emojis they put in there. And then there's one more. Sorry, I forgot about this other one.
oh, I forgot to wave.
It's okay. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm like bad interneting here.
Oh, where's that?
Where did I close it? I might have closed it. The other thing too that people have used, hold on, let me stop screen sharing. And I'm sure you've seen it before. Marie Forleo does it. Basically what they do, so she does a lot of video content, right? So and you can embed video in an email newsletter, but sometimes it doesn't come out well. And rather than give people the big X, rather than seeing an image that clearly isn't loading, what Marie Forleo does is she takes a screenshot of like them talking and she'll put like a little play button over it. Like she'll Photoshop a play button over it, and then you click on it and it brings you to the website in the video. So
that's pretty cool,
right? So it like tells you, it communicates to you, even though it's technically an image that's linked. It communicates to you that when you click on it, you're going to see a video. Like, oh, there's a video here, and then you press that play button, and it brings you to the YouTube page where that video is,
instead of the heartbreak of the X.
Right, because
then I tend to think too, like especially with bigger marketing people, like when you have the X, I'm like. So there's a scene in Mad Max, I think it was in the trailers, where like the evil bad guy was like Emojin Joe. And he's like mediocre. Like that's how I feel inside when I see that. Also, funny story, my brother, we were really tired when we were watching this and all of us were pretty much asleep. And he was like, did you just say meat hooker? So
they could have said meat hooker very easily in that movie, maybe. I feel like if I would have seen a meat hook in that movie, that wouldn't necessarily.
Well, that's why we were I was like, no, and then I was like, actually, that's not entirely preposterous in context. But yeah, anyway, that's how I feel when I see the big X's.
Right. Mediocre.
Don't be mediocre.
Don't be mediocre. Do you appreciate that somehow I've clicked on something where I'm like I've pulled myself in as a guest on this broadcast?
Oh.
Let me close her. Let me close her.
I'm guessing he's our one viewer.
You've unmuted your microphone. All right. I'm not sure how much of that was muted. So this was a very interesting episode of Tech Thursday. Thank you for hanging in there. 0 people. Just kidding.
We need to get this on Periscope. Actually,
Yeah.
the guys that I listen to, the Bravo people that Allison and I are always raving about, they, I guess, tried Periscope for the first time yesterday.
Yeah.
So they did their usual podcast, but they had a camera, which is funny because they usually will just record in like their own like separate apartments, even though they're like 2 feet away from each other. So fun fact.
Yeah, fun fact. So yeah, maybe we'll switch venues, but you know, the Google feels like a good place to be. But like I said, we're figuring out our soundproof room and our new microphone, which Matt has kindly told us about. And if you're looking for a microphone that doesn't cost a gazillion dollars, this blue snowball mic was like $49, and
It's like a baby Wally.
it's pretty hefty. Like when I picked up the package, I mean, the package weighs like 2 pounds or something. Like it's definitely like heftier than you think it's going to be. And yeah, it seems to be pretty good sound wise. So we'll have to see if we've improved the sound part, then we'll work on the ambiance of this room too. So, but anyway, so check out that Fast Company article. We'll link to it in the description of this video. And you know, tell us what interesting things you're doing with email, because we'd be curious. And yeah, I
Do
think
you
that's
have
it.
any additional topics for us? As usual, just get a hold of us, comment on the video, and we will we'll talk about your thing.
Yeah, totally. We're
To
open.
death.
We're open to topics. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next week.